Yes people, what's happening? Welcome back to What's Inside. In this video I've decided I'm going to make a repair tutorial. This is basically to repair any iPhone, and you can also use this to sort of go onto Samsung repairs and other Androids. I'll do it from a complete beginner's perspective so that if you are new you can follow along. If you enjoy this video and want to see more of me, then make sure you subscribe. First things first, I'm sure you're going to wonder, oh, what am I going to need? You're going to need the phone that you're repairing, a set of precision tools, and also you're going to need some sort of heat plate, or like you can use a hairdryer as well. If you have one of those laying about, you're going to, firstly, before you do anything, is power off the device. That is the most important thing, because otherwise you can create shorts and you don't want to be doing that. You're going to undo the two bottom pentalobe screws with the pentalobe screwdriver, and this one for whatever reason isn't working, so I'm going to grab a different one. For reference as well, most screens that you're going to buy are going to come with a toolkit like this, so you already have what you need there really, unless you've bought batteries, but even most batteries come with a toolkit like this as well. So there's one pentalobe screw, and there's the other. Then going to need one of these sort of pry tools. Depending on whether the screen's been replaced before, you'll need to heat up the display before opening it, because there's an adhesive around the outside of the screen which holds the screen in place quite sturdily. Now what you need to know before opening these is that there's clips all the way around the outside of the screen except for the top. That is what you're going to release. What you're going to do is you're going to get the tool, push it against the side of the screen, and then push down. You can then work your way around the phone, giving it just a gentle nudge to the side. This will release the clips, as you can hear on the outside. Then going to work our way around the other side. And sometimes I use my finger now to sort of get underneath too. You don't want to drop the phone though. This is an old phone, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, work your way around the outside of the display, and at this point you'll release it. Now, next thing to note is from the iPhone 5 to the iPhone 6S, they all open from the bottom up. From the iPhone 7 to the iPhone, I believe it's the 12, they all open from left to the right, and then from the iPhone 12 to the latest model, they open from right to left. So make sure you Google which way your phone opens before you go ahead and open it. So we've lifted that up, and first things first, you can note that there's two screws covering the battery. The battery is the most important thing to disconnect, because otherwise you can cause shorts, and we do not want to short the phone out, because then it is a pain in the ass. Right, so they are two Phillips screws, in other words a crosshead screwdriver if you're new. And we are going to undo that one's pretty loose already. And then we will undo that one, just like that. Let's lift out the plate as well, which is fine. Make sure when you take out the screws, you organise them in the way that they were in the phone. So this left screw here will go into this left, this right will go into this right. Just because it makes it a whole lot easier when you have advanced repairs and you're taking out the board and all sorts. It's just good practice to do. Now, I use my fingernail. You can use a plastic spudger if you want to. A plastic spudger looks like this. This is a plastic spudger, and you can just lift it up. I find it a bit too hard, I don't even bother them. I'll just use my fingernail. I'm not going to cause a short, so just pop the battery out. You simply get your fingernail underneath and lift up. Next thing we need to do is undo these 4 screws. They are at the top of the phone. Hopefully you can see okay. And we're going to once again organise them the way that they came out. What I like to do as well is to pop the plate next to the screws that I've taken out, if there is one, just so I know that these screws go with that plate, these screws go with that plate. So we need to now use our fingernail once again, or our plastic spudger pry tool, get underneath and lift these 3 flexes up, and we can remove the screen. So that's how simple it is and easy it is to remove the screen. And you can lift the plate up and lift up the camera array. The important thing to note as well with the camera array is also heat this up if you can, because if you break it then you'll have to replace it and that costs you more money. Then do the same process in the new screen but in reverse. So I've decided it'd probably be best to actually just show you how to replace the screen, considering that's what the video is for. Otherwise it's a pretty crap video. So we're going to start by undoing the top 3 screws here. As you can see, we are keeping them nice, neat and tidy, and in the order that they came out. And then we can remove the plate. You can then see the camera, the earpiece speaker, which we can take out, and a microphone underneath. It's best to pull up ever so slightly, and that will release. We can pop that to one side. Remember, if I'm going too fast, then you can always pause the video in the meantime. There's then a screw here that we need to remove, as this holds down the covering plate. Just like that, and we can pop that to one side, just a bit lower than the last. We then have, or normally have, 6 screws, so 1, 2, 3, sorry it's actually, 1, 2, 3, which we need to remove. After that, we can remove this covering plate, just like that. And then usually there'd be 3 screws here. So the plate is actually meant to go underneath there, so you'd have an extra screw to remove. We're just going to remove the one and pop it to the side. I imagine that the other screws have fallen out due to vibration. We then have our home button. We need to unclip the home button with our fingernail while just pulling up. We can then remove the home button. We then grab our new screen. So I'm going to use the same one as the last one wasn't cracked. We can pop in our home button, just like so, and plug it back in. Nice and easy. We're then going to put on our covering plate. And we have to re-screw the 6 screws around the outside. We then need to pop in the screw that goes in up here, which is just below. Now that we've done that, we can pop in our home button, which, like I say, should usually go underneath this covering plate. Check that it still clicks and works. Now we need our camera. These holes here, the cutouts, will align with the cutouts on the screen, so we're going to line them up. First, pinch it like this, push back the other flexes and line up the microphone. There should be glue pre-applied to hold it down. We'll then lift up the actual camera itself, being sure not to put our fingers on it, and push it into place. We then want to get our speaker, pop our speaker on, and pull the camera across, making sure that the two holes here line up with the two holes on the speaker, and the gold contacts here line up with the gold contacts here, as this is what delivers the speaker's power. We can then pop the camera down and make sure the speaker's lined up correctly. Next, grab your covering bracket right here and put it over the top of the assembly. We can now screw this in place with the screws that we prepared earlier. Now finally, line up the screen with the top of the phone and pop in the connectors. You just give them a little wiggle and push. You'll know when it's in place because they will no longer wiggle on the board. Like that wiggle, then we get it into place, it won't wiggle no more. Push into place. Then line up the battery connector and push it into place. You'll hear a nice little click when they are in place correctly. Grab the covering plate and pop it in place. And if I had blocked my screws, you'd be able to see. Top right screw goes with the top right screw hole. Top left screw goes with, you guessed it, the top left screw hole, and so on. Then grab our battery covering plate and pop that in place, and grab our right screw, which goes with the right screw hole. That's it, you're getting it now. Left screw with the left screw hole. Now, making sure to align the top of the phone with the understating clips, and we can clip the phone screen back into place. The final step of the job will be making sure the phone still turns on and works, like that, and getting our two bottom pentalobe screws and screwing them back into place. And that's it, congratulations, you have repaired your first iPhone. Well done, because it's not a completely easy task. Hopefully this sheds some light on how to repair a phone. Any questions, please feel free to shout me in the comments below.